World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day, I am Peñano with today's World News in 5. Ukraine is calling for what it calls real peace, not appeasement in its war with Russia. Speaking at the OSCE Ministerial Council, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha warned against repeating historic mistakes like the 1938 Munich Agreement, which he said showed the dangers of yielding to aggressive powers. This comes as US President Donald Trump said the path to future peace talks remains uncertain despite what he described as reasonably good discussions between Russian President Vladimir Putin and US envoys. Meanwhile, tensions continue within the OSCE. The United States is pushing for reforms and a significant budget cut while accusing the organization of overreach, particularly in its election monitoring efforts. Russian officials, on the other hand, criticized what they call the Ukrainization of the OSCE agenda. In our news, Germany has deployed 5 Eurofighter jets and 150 personnel to Malbork, Poland to help secure Polish airspace after Russian drone incursions in September, the German Air Force said. Polish F-16s, Dutch F-35s, and Italian surveillance planes were involved in the earlier operation, marking the first time a NATO member reportedly fired shots linked to Russia's war in Ukraine. The German jets are part of NATO's Eastern Sentry mission and will remain in Malbork until March 2026 near the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad. German Air Chief Holger Neumann said the deployment sends a strong message of support for Poland and the alliance. Germany has also stationed Eurofighters in Romania to strengthen NATO's eastern flank amid heightened tensions with Russia. The leaders of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo have reaffirmed their commitment to a US-brokered peace deal even as heavy fighting continues in eastern Congo. Presidents Paul Kagame and Felix Tshisekedi met in Washington for the signing ceremony hosted by US President Donald Trump. The agreement builds on earlier pacts focused on economic integration and access to critical minerals, resources Washington hopes to secure as it competes with China. But despite the high-profile event, clashes between Rwanda-backed M23 rebels and the Congolese forces were reported across South Kivu. News agency Reuters, citing analysts, reports that U.S. diplomacy has slowed the escalation but has not resolved deeper tensions. A White House official said the deal recommits the parties to the peace process, though critics, including Nobel laureate Denis Mukwege, argue the agreements prioritize minerals over ending the violence. And in Indonesia is investigating companies suspected of deforestation in areas hit by catastrophic floods in Sumatra. Forestry Minister Raha Julie Anthony told Parliament the government may revoke licenses and review forest governance, while Energy Minister Balil Lahadalia said mining permits could also be scrapped if rules were broken. The disaster driven by cyclone-related floods and landslides has killed at least 836 people, with hundreds still missing across West Sumatra, North Sumatra, and Aceh. Rescue efforts are hampered by blocked roads and power outages, though some isolated areas such as Aceh Tamyang have been reached. Environmental groups blame deforestation for worsening the floods. Authorities are racing to restore electricity, deliver fuel, and provide aid by air to hard-to-reach communities, aiming to stabilize the region by the weekend. And that concludes today's edition of World News in 5. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, I am Peñano. Good day.
World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5 here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.